Welcome to our deep dive. We're diving into The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Hi.
And we're going to explore his unconventional strategies for achieving freedom and fulfillment. So we're talking less work, more life, and financial freedom starting now, not like way later.
A lot of people think they have to just grind it out till retirement before they can, really enjoy life.
Yeah.
And Ferriss really challenges that.
Yeah.
He argues that you can design a lifestyle that prioritizes freedom and fulfillment right now,
Right.
not decades from now.
And he uses real-life examples like Dale Big-Smith. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, Olympic skier.
Yeah, he won an Olympic gold medal in moguls.
Right. And he built a successful internet company at just 15.
Yeah.
So imagine like juggling high school and a business and Olympic level training.
Yeah.
He really embodies that work smarter, not harder philosophy.
Yeah. It makes you think, like, why wait?
Right?
Why do we have to wait for retirement? Like, what if you could travel the world and learn new skills and pursue that dream career now?
Totally.
Like, why do we have to wait?
It's like Ferriss is saying, stop putting your life on hold.
Yeah.
But to do that, you kind of have to redefine your idea of wealth.
Okay.
He makes this distinction between absolute income and relative income. Absolute income is just the total amount of money you make.
Right. The number on your paycheck.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But relative income is about the time you spend earning that money.
Okay.
So think about it. Would you rather make a ton of money but be chained to your desk,
Right.
or earn enough to live comfortably but have the time to pursue your passions?
Right.
That's the essence of relative income.
Right.
And it's what the new rich, as Ferriss calls them, prioritize.
So it's not about just, like, hoarding cash?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about maximizing your time and your freedom.
Okay.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Imagine two people, both making $50,000 a year. One works 80 hours a week, the other one just 10.
Wow.
Who's wealthier in terms of time and freedom?
Right. Yeah. That's a huge difference.
It is.
80 hours a week versus 10. That's crazy. Yeah, so you're really making me think about, like, am I trading my hours for something that doesn't really fulfill me?
It's a good question to ask yourself.
Yeah. But even before you can start thinking about escaping the 9 to 5, Ferriss says you need to get really clear on what your dream lifestyle actually looks like.
Right. It's like having a destination in mind before you set out on a journey.
Yeah.
He has this exercise called the dream line,
Okay.
where you list what you want in these three categories: having, being, and doing.
Okay.
So it's really like painting a vivid picture of your ideal life.
Right.
The experiences you want to have, the person you want to become, the things you want to achieve.
So it's kind of like setting the GPS before you start a road trip.
Exactly.
If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
It's true. This exercise really helps you to create a roadmap to your dream life.
Yeah. So once you have that vision, you can start applying some of Ferriss's principles to make it a reality. And one of the most powerful ones is the 80-20 principle, also known as Pareto's Law.
Yeah, the 80-20 principle, that's a classic.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not sure I fully understand it. How does it actually apply to work?
So basically it states that roughly 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts.
Okay.
So imagine if you could identify that crucial 20% in your work
Yeah.
and focus all your energy there, eliminating the rest.
Wow.
Ferriss shares a story about firing 2% of his customers
Good.
who are draining his time and energy.
Okay.
And he focused on the top 3% who are generating most of his revenue.
So he was like ruthless with his time.
Yeah, you could say that. It's about being very selective and focusing on the things that actually move the needle.
So instead of trying to do everything,
Right.
you really got to focus on what matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this leads to a shift from time management to what Ferriss calls priority management.
Okay. I need some help with that. I always feel like I'm trying to cram too much into my day, and I never have enough time.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. And Ferriss argues that what we perceive as lack of time is actually just a lack of clear priorities.
Okay.
Ever heard of Parkinson's law?
Vaguely. Remind me.
It states that work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion.
Oh, yeah.
So if you give yourself a week to do something, it'll take you a week, even if you could have done it in the day.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is. So what's the antidote?
Okay.
Set tight deadlines
Okay.
and focus on completing the most important tasks first. It's not about doing more.
Right.
It's about doing what truly matters.
Okay.
And to help with that, Ferriss advocates for something he calls the low information diet.
Okay. The low information diet. What is that? Like kale smoothies?
Not exactly.
Yeah.
It's about cutting out unnecessary news and media consumption.
Okay.
Ferriss actually claims that he hasn't watched the news or bought a newspaper in years,
Wow.
except once when he needed a coupon for Diet Pepsi.
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's definitely a bold statement. But I think the point is to be really intentional with what you let into your mind.
So are you saying instead of like mindlessly scrolling through social media or watching the news all day, we should be focusing on things that actually contribute to our goals?
Exactly. Reclaim your mental space
Okay,
for the things that actually matter.
I like that. And that brings us to a concept that's really central to the 4-hour workweek philosophy: automation and outsourcing.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting.
Yeah, Ferriss is a huge advocate for outsourcing and not just like mundane tasks. He talks about outsourcing email management, travel arrangements, research, even worrying.
Yeah, he actually hired virtual assistants in India to
Really?
handle a lot of his personal tasks. It sounds crazy,
Yeah,
but the idea is to free yourself from the things that weigh you down so you can focus on what you're really good at.
I can see how that would be helpful. And he claims it can actually save you money in the long run.
Yeah, he points out that living expenses can be a lot lower in places like Buenos Aires or Berlin
Okay.
compared to the US. So you could potentially outsource tasks for a fraction of what it would cost to hire someone locally.
So you're leveraging global resources and being really open to unconventional ways of working.
Totally. And all of this leads up to one of the most exciting ideas in the book: designing a muse.
A muse, like a source of inspiration, like a beautiful painting.
Not quite.
Okay.
In Ferriss's world, a muse is a business that generates income with minimal time investment from the owner.
Oh, okay. So like a business that practically runs itself.
Exactly. It's the ultimate dream for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So how do you create one of these magical muse businesses?
Well, Ferriss has some specific criteria for choosing the right product or service.
Yeah.
First, it should solve a problem for a specific niche market.
Okay, so not trying to be everything to everyone.
Right. You want to focus on a smaller group with a particular need.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
You're probably more likely to stand out if you're catering to a specific audience.
Exactly. And he recommends pricing products between $50 to $100.
Okay.
That sweet spot allows for decent profit margins, but minimizes customer service headaches.
So you're making a decent profit without having to deal with a ton of customer inquiries.
Exactly.
Smart.
He also emphasizes speed. The product should be manufacturable in 3 to 4 weeks or less.
Okay.
That keeps your business agile, and it avoids, big upfront investments or inventory nightmares.
No warehouses full of stuff that's not selling.
Exactly. And finally, the product or service should be easily explainable in an online FAQ.
Okay.
That's key for minimizing customer service interactions.
So people can find answers to their questions without having to like email you or call you.
Right. It's all about streamlining the process.
Yeah. So we have our ideal Muse product. It solves a problem. It's priced right. It's quick to manufacture. And it's self-explanatory. But how do we know if it's actually going to work?
That's where the test before you invest mindset comes in.
Okay.
Ferriss is all about using tools like Google AdWords to gauge demand before committing a lot of resources.
So you're testing the waters before you jump in?
Exactly. He even talks about negotiating favorable payment terms with manufacturers, like net 30 payments. So you don't have to shell out a ton of cash up front.
Okay, so minimizing that initial investment.
Like,
Are there actual examples of people who have successfully built these Muse businesses?
absolutely.
Okay.
Ferriss highlights several examples throughout the book.
All right.
There's Sherwood, who started selling French sailor shirts,
Okay.
and Johanna, who created and sold yoga DVDs.
Okay.
They didn't need massive capital or fancy MBAs.
Yeah.
Just a good idea, a willingness to experiment, and the ability to execute.
So it's really possible to create a successful business without huge upfront investments or years of experience.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay, I'm liking this.
Yeah.
So how do you actually manage to make sure it runs smoothly without constant input from you?
Ferriss dives deep into automation.
Okay.
He talks about creating a virtual architecture for your business,
Okay.
using outsourcing and technology to handle everything from order processing to customer service.
So you're basically building a system that can run itself even when you're not there.
That's the goal. He recommends using specialized outsourcing companies
Okay.
instead of individual freelancers for more stability and redundancy.
Okay, so if one person drops the ball, there's a backup.
Exactly.
Okay. But wouldn't managing a remote team add a whole other layer of complexity?
It can. But Ferriss provides strategies and tools for making it work.
Okay.
He emphasizes clear communication, detailed documentation, and using project management software to keep everyone on track.
So you're setting up systems and processes to ensure that everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. And he shares his own experiences, both successes and failures,
Okay.
to give you valuable insights into what works and what doesn't.
I like that. So it's all about learning from his mistakes and constantly improving.
That's the key.
It's amazing how he breaks down this whole process into manageable steps. It makes building a Muse business feel achievable, even for someone like me who doesn't have a business background.
Right. It's all about taking it one step at a time.
Yeah. So what I'm taking away so far is that we have way more control over our lives and our time than we realize.
I agree.
It's about challenging assumptions and questioning the status quo and taking proactive steps to design a life that really reflects our values.
Absolutely. And whether it's escaping the 9 to 5,
Yeah.
building a Muse business,
Right.
or just finding more time for the things you love,
Right.
Ferriss provides a roadmap
Yeah.
for achieving a lifestyle that many only dream of.
But he acknowledges that all this freedom can come with some unexpected challenges too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about a potential void that can open up when work is no longer your primary focus.
So what do you do about that?
He encourages readers to anticipate this and prepare for it.
Okay.
He recommends cultivating interests and activities outside of work,
Okay.
things that bring you joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
So that could be anything from learning new skills
Right.
to pursuing creative passions
Yeah.
to spending more time with loved ones.
So he's not just saying like work less and then sit on the couch.
No, he's saying work less and then go do all these amazing things
Right.
that you've always wanted to do.
He also talks about taking mini retirements,
Yes.
like relocating to a new place for a few months to break out of your routine and just gain new perspectives.
And he doesn't just talk about the benefits.
Right.
He actually gets into the nitty-gritty of how to make it happen.
Okay.
He breaks down costs of living in various places around the world,
Okay.
showing that your money can go much further in certain countries.
Oh, wow.
He even provides detailed budgets and resources,
Okay.
making it clear that this isn't just a fantasy for the ultra-wealthy.
So it's really possible.
It is.
Okay.
It's about being strategic and resourceful.
Yeah. So even with all this freedom and adventure, Ferriss acknowledges that you still might face existential questions
Right.
or feelings of emptiness.
He does. He talks about that.
So what do you do about that?
He emphasizes the importance of finding meaning and purpose outside of work.
Okay.
He encourages readers to reflect on their values, identify causes or activities that resonate with them.
So volunteering or mentoring.
That's right.
Creative expression. Anything that gives you a sense of fulfillment.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about shifting from a self-centered perspective to a more outward-focused one.
I like that. And he even suggests revisiting activities you enjoyed as a child.
Yeah.
Like things that brought you pure joy and excitement.
And connect with that inner child.
Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in the daily grind and forget about those things.
It is. It happens to all of us.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
From escaping the office to finding meaning and purpose outside of work.
It's been a journey.
Yeah. What are some of the key takeaways that are resonating with you so far?
I think what stands out for me is this idea that you don't have to wait for retirement to start living your dreams.
Yeah.
There are ways to create more freedom and fulfillment right now, whether it's through unconventional work arrangements or creative business models, or simply being more intentional with your time and energy.
Yeah. And for me, it's the emphasis on defining your own version of success.
Right.
And designing a life that aligns with your values. It's about breaking free from societal expectations and creating a life that truly reflects who you are and what you want to achieve.
I think that's a powerful message.
Yeah. And there's still so much more to unpack.
There is.
In the next part of this deep dive,
Right.
We're going to explore Ferriss's specific strategies for designing a Muse business.
We are. We'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, from product selection to automation and everything in between.
We'll break it all down.
We'll also dive into his test before you invest approach
Absolutely.
and his tips for managing a remote team effectively.
Yeah, those are essential skills for anyone who wants to create a more flexible lifestyle.
And we'll discuss some potential pitfalls to avoid.
Right, because there are always challenges along the way.
And how to navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship. It's not always easy.
Yeah. So stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the 4-hour work week.
Oh, right.
So before we jump into creating a Muse business,
Okay.
let's talk about escaping the office.
Yeah,
That's got to be like a major pain point for a lot of people.
it is. It's funny how we've come to accept this idea that we have to be physically present in an office to be productive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Ferriss challenges that assumption.
Yeah. He calls the office a major obstacle
He does.
to the freedom and flexibility.
It
they've
does. Yeah. And he shares this great story about a guy named Dave
Okay.
who worked in tech support at Hewlett-Packard.
Okay.
And Dave managed to work remotely from China for a month
What?
without his employer even realizing it.
No way. How is that even possible?
I know it sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but he was super meticulous about his work.
Okay.
He made sure to be available during his regular work hours.
And he even used technology to make it seem like he was still in the office.
Wow.
And the craziest part is that he actually proposed to his girlfriend while he was in China,
Oh, wow.
and they ended up getting married.
That's amazing. So talk about work-life integration.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing most bosses wouldn't be too thrilled about their employees just taking off to China
Yeah, you're probably right.
without telling them.
It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
But Ferriss does offer some practical advice
Okay.
for negotiating remote work arrangements,
Okay.
even if your boss isn't initially on board.
So how do you do that?
He calls it the remote control CEO approach.
Okay. The remote control CEO. What is that?
So it's all about gradually transitioning to a remote work setup,
Okay.
maybe starting with 1 or 2 days a week,
Okay.
and proving your productivity and reliability every step of the way.
So you're basically showing your boss that you can be even more effective working remotely.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have to quantify your results. Show your boss exactly how much you're accomplishing while you're working remotely.
So it's not just about demanding more freedom.
Right.
It's about showing your boss that it benefits them as well.
Exactly. It's about making it a win-win situation.
Yeah. Okay. But what if your job is like truly beyond repair?
Okay.
Or you're just like, I'm done. I'm ready for something new.
Yeah. Ferriss actually dedicates a whole chapter to killing your job,
Oh, wow.
acknowledging the emotional and financial challenges involved.
Yeah. It's scary to quit your job.
It can be.
Ew.
He doesn't sugarcoat it,
Right.
but he makes the point that staying in a job that makes you miserable
Yeah.
is a form of self-sabotage.
You're just like slowly dying inside.
You are.
Yeah.
You're trading your precious time and energy for something that's just draining your soul.
So he's not advocating for just like quitting recklessly.
No,
He's saying be smart about it.
exactly. It's a calculated approach.
Oh.
He encourages readers to confront their fears,
Okay.
assess their financial situation,
Right.
and create a plan for transitioning out of their current job.
So there's always options,
There are always options.
even if they don't seem obvious at first.
Right. And he offers some practical advice
Right.
for managing your finances during that transition,
Okay, like what?
like cutting expenses,
Okay.
exploring alternative income streams,
Yeah.
maybe even temporarily living on savings if you need to.
Okay.
He reminds us that even if things don't go exactly according to plan,
Yeah.
you can always find a way to bounce back.
Yeah. Don't let fear paralyze you.
Right.
Just take action and trust that you'll figure it out along the way.
I love that.
Yeah. So whether you're aiming for like a remote work arrangement
Okay.
or a complete career overhaul,
Right.
Ferriss provides a roadmap
He does.
for escaping the 9 to 5.
He does.
But what happens when you actually achieve that freedom?
Yeah.
Is it all sunshine and roses?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Ferriss is honest about the potential challenges that come with having more free time.
Okay.
He calls it the void. The void. That feeling of emptiness or even boredom that can arise when you're no longer consumed by work.
Yeah. It's like you have all this free time and then you don't know what to do with yourself.
Exactly. It's like what they say about retirement.
Yeah.
You need to have a plan
Right.
for what you're going to do with all that time.
Otherwise, you're just going to end up watching TV all day.
Exactly. So Ferriss provides some really insightful advice
Okay.
for filling that void.
Okay. Like what?
He encourages readers to cultivate interests and activities outside of work,
Okay.
things that bring them joy and fulfillment.
So like hobbies and passions.
Exactly. It could be learning new skills,
Yeah.
pursuing creative passions,
Great.
or just spending more quality time with loved ones.
Okay. So he's not just saying like work less and then sit on the couch.
No, he's saying work less and then go do all these amazing things that
Yeah.
you've always wanted to do.
He also suggests something he calls mini retirements.
Yes.
What are those?
So instead of waiting like decades for traditional retirement, he encourages taking extended breaks.
Okay.
Maybe relocating to a new place for a few months.
Okay.
It's a chance to kind of immerse yourself in a new culture,
Yeah.
learn new skills,
Yeah.
gain some fresh perspectives.
It's like pressing the reset button on your life.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like this extravagant around-the-world trip. It could be as simple as renting a cabin in the woods for a month.
Yeah.
And just disconnecting from everything.
I like that. And Ferriss argues that these mini retirements aren't just about relaxation.
Right.
They're about personal growth and exploration.
They are.
Like stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
And discovering new facets of yourself and the world.
Totally.
And here's something that might surprise you.
Okay.
Ferriss shows that these mini retirements can actually be more affordable than staying put.
I know, right? It sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But he breaks down the costs of living
Okay.
in various places around the world.
Okay.
Shows you how your money can stretch much further.
Wow.
In countries like Thailand or Argentina or even parts of Europe,
Okay.
he provides detailed budgets and resources,
Really?
proving that it's not just a pipe dream
Okay.
for the wealthy.
So you're saying it's possible.
It is. It's about being strategic and resourceful.
Like stop making excuses and just do it.
Exactly.
So we've talked about escaping the office,
Yes.
taking mini retirements.
Right.
But even with all this freedom, Ferriss acknowledges that it's still important to find meaning and purpose outside of work.
He does. He talks about that.
Yeah. So what's his advice on that?
He encourages readers to reflect on their values
Okay.
and identify causes or activities that resonate with them.
So volunteering, mentoring,
That's right.
creative expression, anything that gives you a sense of fulfillment.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about shifting from a self-centered perspective
Right.
to a more outward-focused one.
And it doesn't have to be some grand world-changing gesture.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It could be as simple as, bringing joy to others through your work
Yeah.
or using your skills to make someone's life a little bit better.
I like that.
Mm.
And he even suggests revisiting activities you enjoyed as a child.
Yes.
Things that brought you pure joy and excitement.
It's so easy to lose sight of those things as we get older
It is.
and more responsible.
Yeah. So we've talked about escaping the office,
Yeah.
taking mini retirements,
We have.
finding meaning outside of work.
Right.
What's next on our 4-hour work week journey?
Well, now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of building a Muse business.
Okay.
That income-generating machine that allows you to enjoy all this freedom.
That runs itself.
Exactly. So in the final part of this deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to dive into Ferriss's specific strategies for designing,
Yeah.
launching,
Okay.
and automating your very own Muse.
I like it. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the 4-hour work week.
All right.
So we've talked about escaping the 9-to-5, redefining wealth, finding your focus, and even taking mini retirements.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has. And now it's time to bring it all together and explore one of the most intriguing concepts in the book,
Right?
designing a Muse.
The Muse.
A business that generates income with minimal time investment from you.
Yeah, a business that practically runs itself.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But Ferriss lays out a pretty clear blueprint for making it a reality.
Okay.
And he emphasizes that this isn't about creating just any old business.
Right.
You have to be strategic.
Yeah. So he has this very specific set of criteria
He does.
for choosing the right product or service for this Muse model.
Right.
So let's break those down.
Okay.
First up, solving a problem for a specific niche market.
Yeah, this is crucial.
Okay.
It's about targeting a smaller, defined audience
Right.
with a clear need
Yeah.
rather than trying to be everything to everyone.
So instead of like generic dog training books,
Right.
you're talking about German Shepherd training guides?
Exactly.
I
Or
know.
instead of general car maintenance manuals.
Yeah.
How about restoration products for antique Fords?
Okay. So you're really honing in on a specific group.
Right.
You're much more likely to stand out
You are.
and capture attention if you're speaking directly to their needs.
Exactly. And by focusing on a niche,
Yeah.
you often reduce competition and you can command premium pricing.
Okay. Next up, pricing.
Okay.
Ferriss recommends aiming for that sweet spot of $50 to $100.
Right.
Why that range?
Well, it's about striking that balance between profit and customer service.
Okay.
Products in this range tend to generate decent profit margins
Okay.
without requiring a ton of hand-holding or support.
Okay. So less customer service equals more freedom for you.
Exactly.
Okay. Ferriss is all about maximizing efficiency
He is.
and minimizing those time-consuming tasks.
That's right.
He also emphasizes the importance of speed.
Yes.
He says the product should be manufacturable in 3 to 4 weeks or less.
Right.
Why is that so important?
It's all about staying agile and minimizing risk.
Okay.
You don't want to be sitting on piles of inventory
Right.
waiting for it to sell. Faster turnaround times mean you can adapt to market changes more quickly.
Okay. And finally, he says it should be easily explainable
Right?
in a comprehensive online FAQ.
Okay.
Why is that?
Well, this goes back to minimizing customer service.
Right.
If people can find answers to their questions easily online,
Yeah.
you're freeing yourself from that constant barrage of emails and phone calls.
Okay. So we've got our ideal Muse product.
We do.
It solves a problem for a specific niche. It's priced right, it's quick to manufacture, and it's self-explanatory.
Sounds good so far.
But how do we know if it's actually going to sell?
Right. That's the big question.
What if we invest all this time and energy and nobody wants it?
Yeah, that's where Ferriss's test before you invest mindset comes in.
Okay.
He's a big proponent of using tools like Google AdWords
Yeah.
to gauge demand before committing a ton of resources.
Okay. So you're dipping your toes in the water before jumping in headfirst.
Exactly. You're testing the market without breaking the bank.
I like it. So
Yeah.
you're setting up like test websites and creating targeted ads.
Right? He walks you through the process step by step.
Okay.
And he even talks about negotiating favorable payment terms with manufacturers,
Okay.
like net 30 payments, so
Yeah.
you don't have to shell out a ton of cash up front.
Okay. So minimizing that initial investment.
Exactly.
Are there any real-world examples of people who have actually used this approach?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He highlights several throughout the book.
Okay. Like who?
Remember Sherwood, who started selling French sailor shirts?
Yeah.
And Johanna, who created and sold yoga DVDs.
Yeah.
They both use this test before you invest approach,
Okay.
validating their ideas with minimal investment before scaling up.
So it's possible to create a successful business
It is.
without those huge upfront costs or
Well,
years of experience.
It's the beauty of this approach.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
So once you have a product that's selling,
Okay.
how do you make sure that it runs smoothly without constant input from you?
Yeah. That's why things can get tricky.
Yeah.
But Ferriss provides a lot of guidance on automation. He calls it creating a virtual architecture for your business.
Okay, so you're building a system that can run itself,
Exactly.
even when you're off, like, exploring the world
Right.
or pursuing your passions.
Exactly.
Okay, so he recommends using specialized outsourcing companies
He does.
instead of individual freelancers.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, it provides more stability and redundancy.
Okay.
So if one person drops the ball,
Yeah.
there's a team there to pick it up.
Okay. It's like having a backup system.
It is.
Okay. But wouldn't managing a remote team add like a whole other layer of complexity?
It can. But Ferriss provides a lot of strategies and tools for making it work.
Okay. Like what?
Well, he's big on clear communication,
Right.
detailed documentation,
Yeah.
and using project management software to keep everyone on track.
So you're not just like handing off tasks and hoping for the best.
Right.
You're really creating systems and
Right.
processes
Exactly.
to streamline everything.
That's the key.
And he shares his own experiences, both successes and failures,
He does.
to give you some insight into what works and what doesn't.
It's all about learning from his mistakes and
Yeah.
constantly refining your systems.
Okay. So it's amazing how he breaks down this whole process into manageable steps.
It is.
It really makes building a Muse business feel achievable,
Right.
even for someone like me who doesn't have a traditional business background.
Yeah. It's about taking it one step at a time.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive,
We have.
from escaping the 9-to-5 to designing a Muse business.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. Ferriss offers a roadmap for creating a life of freedom and fulfillment.
He does.
He challenges us to question our assumptions,
Right.
break free from societal expectations,
Yeah.
and design a life that really aligns with our values and aspirations.
I love that.
So what's the biggest takeaway for you from this whole deep dive?
I think for me, it's that we have more control over our lives and our time than we often realize.
Yeah.
It's about taking ownership, being proactive, and making conscious choices that move us closer to the life we want.
And for me, it's the reminder that you don't have to wait for retirement
Right.
to start living your dreams.
You don't.
There are so many possibilities out there.
There are.
So many ways to create a life
Yeah.
that's both meaningful and fulfilling.
And Ferriss gives us the tools to do it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So we hope this deep dive has inspired you to rethink your relationship
Yeah.
with work time and freedom.
I hope so.
Maybe it's time to explore that remote work arrangement.
Right.
Take that mini retirement or
Right.
start brainstorming ideas for your own Muse business.
Why not?
As Ferriss says,
Yeah.
what we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do.
That's a great quote.
So take that first step, even if it feels scary,
Right.
and see where it leads you.
You never know what you might discover.
The 4-Hour Workweek is more than just a book.
It is.
It's a call to action.
Absolutely.
It's an invitation to design a life that truly reflects who you are and what you want to achieve.
It's about taking control of your destiny.
So go out there and create the life you've always wanted.
That's the message.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.